Welcome to British Focus, your premier source for in-depth analysis and fearless discussion on today's most contentious issues. In this video, we explore the shocking statements made by Keir Starmer regarding Tommy Robinson, remarks that have reverberated across Britain and ignited a global debate on free speech, government control, and the public's right to voice dissent. Our aim is to uncover the truth behind these explosive claims, examining how one controversial figure has become a symbol of wider political strife and a catalyst for change. We invite you to join our community by subscribing, liking, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement fuels our mission to inform and inspire. Now, let's delve into the video and uncover the drama unfolding before our eyes. Stay tuned as we examine every facet of this controversy, offering balanced insights on free speech and democracy in Britain. Your voice is essential in this discussion. Join us now. Make your voice count.
Breaking right now. Finally, a member of the House of Lords has decided to directly question the government on the despicable and, I believe, illegal treatment of the UK's political prisoner Tommy Robinson in solitary at HMP Woodhill. So this came from Lord Pearson of Rannoch. Good guy, former UKIP guy, been connected with Tommy Robinson in the past.
That's Tommy Robinson. You might have seen him here or more recently online. In late May, Robinson was arrested outside Leeds Court. That very same day, he was sent to jail. He's now looking at 13 months behind bars. Since then, there's been organised protests across the country in London, Manchester, Leeds. People in their thousands are marching for Robinson's release, with some protests turning violent. Many believe his arrest and imprisonment is unfair or illegal. So, is it? Well, let's take it back a sec. Who exactly is Tommy Robinson, or Stephen Yaxley Lennon? That's his real name.
In these opening moments, one cannot help but be struck by the seismic impact of Keir Starmer's recent remarks about Tommy Robinson. It is as if a tremor has gone off at the very heart of British society, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about our current political climate. Consider for a moment the audacity of the claim. Robinson wasn't merely punished, he was deliberately silenced. This is not just an isolated incident, but a stark illustration of how dissenting voices are being methodically muzzled, and it compels us to ask whether the ideals of free speech are being sacrificed on the altar of political expediency. When you watch these events unfold, it feels like the pulse of the nation is changing, with anger simmering beneath the surface of everyday life. Protests have erupted across the country, a visceral and often chaotic response to what many perceive as an attack on fundamental rights. The arrest and subsequent treatment of Tommy Robinson have ignited not just outrage but a broader debate about the limits of governmental control and the suppression of free expression. As we delve deeper, it is essential to understand who Tommy Robinson truly is and why his name has become synonymous with such fierce controversy. To some, he is a champion of free speech, a fearless critic who dares to speak against what they consider to be harmful ideologies and the overreach of state power. Yet, to others, he is a divisive figure whose rhetoric and actions have contributed to societal polarization. This duality is at the core of the matter, a reflection of a nation grappling with its identity and the boundaries of acceptable discourse. The initial reaction, marked by protests and a palpable sense of injustice, speaks volumes about the intensity of public sentiment. People are not just angry, they are deeply unsettled by the notion that a voice, no matter how controversial, might be suppressed by those in positions of power. This scenario forces us, as engaged citizens, to question the very nature of justice in our society. Is it truly justice when one is silenced for merely expressing dissent? Or is it a perilous slide towards a culture where only state-sanctioned opinions are allowed to flourish? The explosive nature of Starmer's comments and the ensuing public outcry serve as a mirror, reflecting the deep-seated divisions that have long plagued our political landscape. In this moment, we must ask ourselves, what does this say about the state of our democracy, and how far are we willing to go before the suppression of speech becomes the norm rather than the exception?
Shocking bombshell. Elon Musk demands Tommy Robinson release in scathing new rant. For years, Tommy Robinson has been vocal about the horrific crimes committed by grooming gangs and the systemic cover-ups that enabled these atrocities. He has faced mockery, vilification, and was branded a far-right extremist for daring to speak the truth. However, in light of recent revelations about institutional failings and cover-ups, it is becoming increasingly clear that Robinson was right all along. In a stunning turn of events, billionaire and free speech advocate Elon Musk has publicly thrown his support behind Tommy Robinson, calling for his immediate release. Musk's actions have ignited a global conversation, shedding light on Robinson's plight and the broader issues of justice and free speech for the most dangerous offenders.
The whole world pays attention when Elon Musk talks. People do things when Conor McGregor yells. Both of them are now...
All right, let's move to the United Kingdom. Barely 6 months after assuming office, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is facing the heat from multiple fronts. His past role as Director of Public Prosecutions is in the spotlight, and American tycoon Elon Musk is the man who put it there. Reports revealed that Musk has held private discussions with allies about removing Starmer from office before the next general election. The owner of social media platform X, Tesla, and also a potential key cabinet member in Trump's upcoming presidential term, Elon Musk set the remove Starmer plan in motion by accusing the Prime Minister of failing to prosecute gangs of men.
At this stage, we begin to unravel the intricate layers of a saga that has gripped not only Britain but the wider world, inviting us all to re-examine the delicate balance between law enforcement and the sacred right of free expression. Reflecting upon Tommy Robinson's early days as the charismatic yet polarizing figurehead of the English Defence League, one must consider how his emergence set a tumultuous precedent for political activism. His repeated run-ins with the law, resulting in numerous arrests and an ongoing legal saga, compel us to question whether these state measures are truly about maintaining public order or simply about silencing a dissenting voice that dares to challenge the status quo. Is it not profoundly concerning that a man, regardless of one's personal view of his ideologies, has become emblematic of a broader struggle against what many see as systemic injustice? The international shockwaves following his treatment, amplified by the vociferous endorsements of global influencers such as Elon Musk and Conor McGregor, reveal that this is far more than a British domestic issue. It is a litmus test for the global fight for free speech. As you listen, consider how every attempt to suppress controversial opinions appears only to further intensify the public's defiance, polarizing opinions and deepening societal divisions. In scrutinizing these events, one cannot help but ask, are we witnessing a deliberate strategy by those in power to curtail open debate, thereby undermining the very principles of democracy? The narrative here challenges us to confront uncomfortable questions about the price of order versus the cost of freedom. With protests erupting and voices on both sides growing ever louder, the issue seems less about the specific legal charges and more about a broader ideological battle between state control and individual liberty. As you follow this unfolding drama, reflect on whether the measures implemented in the name of security might actually be silencing critical voices that could spark much-needed reform. It is a debate that forces us to weigh the immediate benefits of quelling unrest against the long-term implications of a society where challenging voices are subdued. In this intense clash of ideologies, one thing becomes abundantly clear. The struggle for free speech is not just a fleeting controversy, but a fundamental battle for the soul of our society, demanding that we all question and critically evaluate where we stand.
Are thousands of Brits protesting the British government for two-tiered policing, mass migration, the death of free speech, the Islamization of England, and the unfair weaponization of the legal system to imprison journalists and activists like... charged with terrorism for refusing to give the police the password to his phone. In fact, you might have recently heard the name Tommy Robinson after he was blamed by the media and the British government, claiming he caused riots in Southport for video rants like these posted on Twitter.
Children being butchered and murdered. Stop the f***ing boats. They're endangering the safe.
Free speech era. But the problem is the goalposts keep changing. So some people celebrated when it was me losing my freedom of speech, yeah? When they were censoring me, or because I speak about Islam, but then they started censoring doctors, nurses, yeah, scientists. We're talking about COVID, we're talking about everything. So here's the Discover Islam Centre. So they're not going to be happy with...
Explain the significance of Discover Islam.
It's a charity shop that was opened in order to convert the town to Islam. Hey, bro.
Hello.
I'm all right, man. How are you?
How you doing?
The purpose of this shop is to convert the town to Islam.
Okay.
Right? That's right?
It's for dawah, yeah.
To convert
to
dawah.
Not to convert, to invite.
But before Tommy debates Islam with a recent convert, I want to tell you about the sponsor of this.
These are people who are trying to get some kind of vicarious thrill from street violence that people like Tommy Robinson promote. And those attacking Jess Phillips, who I'm proud to call a colleague and a friend, not protecting victims, Jess Phillips has done 1,000 times more than they've even dreamt about when it comes to protecting victims of sexual abuse throughout her entire career. And so just as I took on the criminal justice system and the institutions when I was chief prosecutor, I'm prepared to call out this for what it is.
In this final segment, we witness the full force of the government's response and the escalating political fallout that is shaking the very foundations of our democracy. It is hard not to feel a sense of profound disquiet as we observe the leadership of the UK coming under relentless scrutiny for its handling of free speech and the treatment of dissenting voices. The state's heavy-handed approach in quelling protests and suppressing alternative opinions raises disturbing questions about where we are headed. One must ask, how much control is too much? And at what point does the clamping down on dissent become a betrayal of the democratic ideals we hold dear? The mounting protests, growing larger by the day, are not merely expressions of discontent but a clear indicator that a significant portion of the public is deeply troubled by what many perceive as an unjust and overreaching system. This isn't just about a single controversial case. It is emblematic of a broader, systemic issue that threatens to set a dangerous precedent for government overreach. We cannot ignore the fact that as the government tightens its grip, it inadvertently fuels a fire of resistance that refuses to be extinguished. The narrative that is being crafted by those in power is one of control and conformity. Yet the very act of silencing voices only lends credence to the idea that these voices have something vital to say. The more the state attempts to dictate what can and cannot be expressed, the louder the call for freedom becomes. It is a classic paradox where every attempt to stifle debate only intensifies public scrutiny and activism. As you listen to these events unfold, consider the implications of a society where dissent is met with punitive measures rather than constructive dialogue. Ask yourself, is it sustainable for a nation to thrive on fear and repression, or must we embrace a future where every opinion, even the most controversial, is given room to breathe? This tumultuous chapter in our political history forces us all to confront the uncomfortable reality of a system that may be sacrificing liberty in the name of security. The very essence of our democratic tradition is at stake when voices are suppressed and accountability is overlooked. For those of us who cherish open debate and the free exchange of ideas, this is not just a political issue. It is a rallying cry for the preservation of our fundamental rights. As we conclude this discussion, I urge you to reflect deeply on the state of our society and consider your role in shaping its future. Your engagement is not only welcome but essential in the ongoing fight for free speech and transparent governance. Stay with us for the next video, where we delve even deeper into these critical issues and explore what can be done to reclaim our right to dissent.